Okay, on this episode, you're going to hear about how to market religiously and why it's important to market religiously because you cannot get enough traction if you don't stay focused on one thing.
Right. And no, it doesn't mean you should send your marketing on Sundays. It means you should have faith and know you're going to have to reach out multiple times before you get a response. You have to have that faith until you get a response. This is the podcast for replacing your income with wholesaling real estate. My name's David. We helped over 10,000 people close their first wholesale deal in all 50 states over 10,000 times with the software platform called DealMachine.
And my name is Ryan Haywood. I've been wholesaling since 2019. I've done over 450 deals and continue to do deals every single day.
Franklin, so glad to have you on the podcast. It's been a year since we were all together in Indianapolis for the event that we had, which was called DealMachine something. I forget what that was called, but basically it was like 10 investors all came together. We kind of explained what issues we were having and also taught something that was really valuable. And so one of the things that always stuck with me, Franklin, is that you always do something big and new every single year. So that was very inspiring, because I love to actually always challenge myself, make sure I continue to keep growing. But for today's episode, I wanted to kind of follow the pattern we normally do, which is asking about your first deal, which I know was back in 2008, and then kind of talk about how your business has evolved since then. So what drove you in 2008 to go, buy that foreclosure? Was it just because there was foreclosures happening and that kind of caught your attention?
2008, yeah, my first property I bought was a single family home. It was a foreclosure. At the time, you could, when you see a property like 75% off, you just know that it's a good deal, that knowing that someone had a loan on it for like $250,000 and you can buy it, 60, 70% off. I mean, to me, it's just everyone should be able to see that, right?
Right. So what was motivating you to even look around at real estate as an investment?
I've always was curious about it. It's kind of always been in my blood, but it was just a good timing. It was basically the right time to start and do it. I've never looked back. It's been great since then.
In 2008, did you buy more than just the one?
So at that time, like for those first few years, I was buying, a couple a year, nothing too crazy. I wasn't really looking ahead, 10 years from then, what could become of it, but it was just easier. It's just easy to find value. You didn't have to beg and borrow to find deals. They were just there. And I think it was in front of you, and no one really thought that, hey, we should be jumping on it at the time. It wasn't as sexy as it is now. It was a whole different environment back then. So knowing what I know now, I wish I would have been more aggressive for sure.
So why did you transition, if that was such a good deal on market? Why did you transition to looking for deals that were off market?
The news changed and people's, the foreclosures kind of slowed down. The on market, the MLS, the buyers that were hurt from the 2005, 2006, 2007, as those buyers that were hurt, I feel like as they kind of died for a couple of years, they kind of came back. Those type of investors came back, and then they were purchasing that inventory that's on the market. And the market kind of changed where it was a lot more competitive, 6-7 years after that. So in about 2014, 2016, that's when I really got into understanding how private money works and how to basically get way more smarter and sharper on how to find property off market, basically find deals before it's actually is on anyone else's radar. So the thing now is being even more creative on trying to find sellers and properties that aren't on someone else's radar, and how to create that deal.
What are your main ways of finding those properties that are not on people's radars?
The main way is mail, targeting mail on sellers that could be a potential seller, not today, but in the next, 12 to 24 months. Mailing is kind of it's a slow process that you have to be comfortable with. I know that from mailing for about 10 years that our average person that calls us, it's usually about 15 to 20 pieces of mail before they'll call us. So I have it already known in my mind that if we start mailing people today, that we won't hear from them till maybe like a year to 2 years from now.
This kind of ties into another point I know you wanted to cover, but you feel that marketing is a religion. And so
Yeah.
does that mean you send marketing every Sunday, or what do you mean by that?
No, so I get a ton of people that call or that want help, new investors that, hey, I'm gonna send out 100 pieces of mail or 200 pieces of mail, 300 pieces of mail, and they do it for a few months and they get a call or no calls and they stop. Right? You know, I I'm a good religious person, Christian person, and I always believe that marketing is like a religion because you have to have faith, right? A lot of people give up on mail, and I feel like it has some kind of tie to faith where they like give up really easily. And if you believe in it, right? If I believe in marketing like I do religion, I know if I mail to enough people consistently, someone will call. And you just have to stick it out. You have to have faith that you'll get a call and you'll get some singles. You'll maybe lose money, but the key thing is to try to get a home run every once in a while, and that will kind of give you confirmation of that you have the right faith and the right religion.
I agree with you on that because even myself, we track exactly every month how many postcards we send out. And we know where that line is. In order to get 40 phone calls, which is our target, we have to send 1,700 mail pieces. And we treat that, I could use the same word, religiously. We do it repetitively every single month because I know if I keep doing that, it's going to result in return phone calls. And once you get a return phone call, that will result in an appointment. And then we know that 25% of the appointments we go on are going to turn into deals. So just sticking to the plan, if you want to use the term religiously, sticking to the plan of find what works. But the only way to find what works is to do it more than once. And I see it all the time. A lot of people will send direct mail, but then they give up after a month because they didn't get a deal. And then they go on and they start trying to text, and they give that a try for a month and they give that up and they go on to the next thing. And they never spend the time to get good at the one thing that's going to bring them a deal. It doesn't matter if it's text or cold calls or direct mail. Just stay with that one thing until you get deals, until you have that built, done really well, until you can commit to it like a religion, until you can say that I know if I do this, this, and this, I'm going to get a deal. You have to stay to it.
Franklin, why did you pick direct mail over cold calling or texting, some of the other ways that I hear people doing deals frequently?
I like the inbound leads.
They're happier.
I feel well, yeah, they're usually happier, but inbound leads from mail, over time, when they've said they've had 20 postcards from us or 10 postcards from us, I feel like they know that we're serious. They know that we're spending money on marketing. We try to update our postcard every single month. We make a change to it so they know that we're putting effort into tweaking it. So we have a reminder every single month to make a change to the postcard. We change the date on the postcard so that if someone will call us and tell us that they have a postcard from, October 2023, it's kind of interesting that they've been tracking that and they've been storing our card for that long period of time.
Okay. Maybe you could actually, and a great way to put a bow on this episode would be, tell us about one of the home runs that you hit, because you said not everything's a home run, but you got to do those singles, those doubles in between to keep your faith going.
A home run, I would say so far, last year, like what I shared to you was that farm labor camp, right? We had a mailer that was going to a seller that is out of town. He's had, 10, 20 pieces of mail, and it was a compound, a multifamily compound for farm labor workers. It's a lead when you get a phone call, but then you have to go look at the property and meet the seller. So, you could take action from the phone call immediately. And I feel like you want to do it immediately because it might be a lead that, even if you don't understand what the lead is, you have to take action to kind of understand what it might be. And that deal, we still own it today. It's $1 million+ profit if we sold it. How do you, I guess, measure that, right, with mail? I don't have an answer for that because it's hard to predict stuff like that.
Got it. So you're saying that you bought it at such a good deal last year that you could sell it for $1 million more if you wanted to this year. But right now, is it cash flowing in the meantime?
Yeah, it's a rental property that we're keeping it, right? We're keeping it as a rental property. I mean, it's for sale if someone wants to pay the right price, but we have it. We have someone interested in purchasing it that's doing some due diligence, but it's not something that we have to sell, right? If we get the right price, yeah, we'll sell it, but it's a good property.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Sounds like that is a home run. It was great to catch up with you too, since DealMachine Academy, which is the event I couldn't think of the name of before. So great to have you guys both back here and to catch up with you, Franklin, to hear things are going well. And I would love to hear if you end up selling that farm labor camp. That'd be a great story. But in the meantime, glad it's cash flowing. And I know you don't do too much social media, do you? Right? You usually tell people, hey, go find Franklin at this, Facebook account or whatever if you want to follow him.
Yeah, you can look me up on Facebook or Instagram. I have those accounts. I don't use them too much, but maybe I'll try to a little bit more.
All right. What's your Instagram?
I think it's just my name, Franklin Romine. Facebook and
cool.
Instagram, I believe it's just my full name.
So sounds really good, man. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all of your success. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call.
You bet, man. All right. Talk to you later. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.